Hi, fifth graders. Today's topics are going to be solving one-step equations with decimals, solving multi-step equations with decimals, and then writing equations with variables. We're going to get started with the one-step equations. So this one's actually pretty easy. It's like a review. So number 5 gives us 3.34 plus x equals 2.1. And we want to solve for x, so we want x to be alone, and the only way to do that would be by getting rid of the 3.34 by subtracting it on both sides, right? Make sure that your decimals are aligned. And then your 3.34 on the left side will cancel out because that's just 0, and then you bring down the x. Now we see that 2.1 is being subtracted by 3.34, right? And 3.34 is a higher number than 2.1, yet 2.1 is on top of it, right? So that's impossible. So our answer would have to be negative. This negative power will overpower the positive sign in 2.1. And then in order to solve for this, since you can't do it this way, we're going to put 3.34 on top and then subtract the 2.1. So 4.4 minus 0 is just 4. 3 minus 1 is 2. Bring down the decimal point. And 3 minus 2 is 1. So our final answer won't be 1.24, but negative 1.24. So be careful with your negative and positive signs here. Now we're going to do the multi-step equations. So this one's going to take a little bit of a while. It's still easy, but it's going to take more time. So number 8 gives us negative 2 times 3n plus 9 equals 30.5. So once again, we want the variable to be alone. And in this case, it's n, right? So I'm going to divide both sides by negative 2 to get rid of the multiplication, right? So our left-hand side will be left with 3n plus 9. And it equals 30.5 divided by negative 2. So in the multiplication and division rules, remember, in the division rules, a positive divided by a negative will just give you a negative. The negative overpowers the positive. Now let's divide 2 into 30.5. 2 can go into 3 once, but you get left with 1, bring down to 0, you get 10. 2 goes into 10 5 times. 10 minus 10 is 0. Bring up the decimal point, and then bring down your 5. 2 can go into 5 2 times, but it gives you 1. So I'm going to add in another 0 and bring that 0 down. And I should get 10, and 2 goes into 10 evenly 5 times, so it'll be 15.25. But don't forget your negative sign, so it'll be negative 15.25. Now that we have one step down, let's try to get another one down. We want 3n alone, so in order to do that, we will subtract 9 on both sides. On the left, we're left with 3n because the 9 cancel out, right? But on the right side, we see that a negative is being subtracted, right? And they have the same signs, negative and negative. So our final answer would be a negative answer. However, since they're the same sign, we're allowed to add them together. So it would be 15.25 plus 9. So we 0.25, 5 plus 9 is 14, bring down the 4, bring up the 1, 2.25, but once again, they're both negative, so our final answer will be negative 24.25. Now that we have 3n by itself, we want n by itself. So we're going to divide by 3. Let's do that. So 3 divided into 24.25. Once again, don't forget that your answer has to be a negative because negative is being divided by a positive. So we want to know what n equals. 3 goes into 24 8 times. 24 minus 24 is 0. Bring up the decimal point, don't forget it. Bring down the 2, but 3 cannot go into 2, so you put 0. And you're left with 2. You bring down the 5, and you get 25. But 3 can go into 25 only 8 times, which is 24. That leaves you with a 1. That leaves you with 1, so you want to add in another 0. And you get 10. And 3 can go into 10 3 times, and that'll give you 9, which gives you 1 again. So it will be repeating. So it'll be 8.08, 3 repeating. But it wants us to round to the nearest hundredths, so we just round it to the 8 right here. And in order to do that, we look at the number after it, which is 3. And 3 is less than 5, so we're going to round down. So our answer should be negative, right? 8.08. So for this particular worksheet, pay close attention to your signs. Now let's do equations. The admission ticket and the admission for a water park for adults is $9. The admission for a child is X dollars, which is $4 cheaper than the adult admission. So you want to write the equation and then solve for the variable. So we know that the adults cost $9 for the admission of all the adults is $9. And the child is X dollars, which is $4 cheaper than the adult admission. So we know that our variable is X, and we know that we have a total cost of $9 for the adults, but we know that the children is $4 cheaper. So we will say that X equals 9 minus 4. Now that will be our equation, and then for our variable, X would equal 5 because 9 minus 4 is 5. So this will be our equation, and this will be our answer. This is actually pretty easy. Now this is kind of like the little bit harder stuff, harder equations. It's the same thing, essentially, just a little bit more complex. Number 1 gives us the sum of 3 consecutive numbers is 84. What is the smallest of 3 numbers? Consecutive means in order. So it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So keeping that in mind, let's say our variable is X, right? And the number, let's guess and check. So it'll be X plus 1 right here, plus X plus 2 equals 84. And this is because, let's say X is 1, right? And we plug in 1, and the next number should be 2, and the next number should be 3. So let's try it out with this one. X plus 1 is 2, yes, so that works. 1 plus 1 is 2, yes, that works. And then 1 plus 2 is 3, that works. So it goes in order. Now let's do some like terms. X plus X plus X is 3X. 1 plus 2 is 3. All equals 84. And then we want to solve for the X, right? So we're going to subtract 3. And then we get 3X equals 81. And then we want to divide by 3 to get the X alone. Let's try that. 3 goes into 8 2 times. 8 minus 6 is 2. Bring down the 1. 3 goes into 21 7 times. So x should equal 27. So for the last two worksheets, you need to have two answers, the equation and the actual answer for the variable. And that's all I have for you guys today. I hope this video helped you guys a bit.